Hey friends, I'm Henry with BrainStormAcres, and do I have a story for you? It all began last week. Last week I got the final part in for the Range Rover, which has been down off and on for 2 years. The part came in and it wasn't right. They sent me the wrong one. It looked like the right one, but it wasn't. So I got the replacement last week. And it looked just like this, which is what it should look like. You won't be able to see in this show that the back of this case is cracked. The problem with that is there's printed circuitry inside this box that connects various electrical circuits up in the car. There's a bunch of relays, a bunch of fuses. It all has to work in the right way for the car to actually function. Well, got the new part in, and you know what? It worked. All the things that were broken and that I'd been chasing for 2 years suddenly began to work. It was all because that printed circuit board and that box was cracked. Now, the way this was found, I dropped this car off 5 weeks ago for my friend at Danny B's Automotive Service in Ash Fork to fix some wiring. You know, the rats out here are bad, and they'll do bad things to your car. They'll do bad things to your lawnmower, anything that has wires in it, or hoses. They'll chew it up because that's what they do. Don't ask me why. I don't understand it. It doesn't seem to me that chewing on plastic would be something that would be really high on their list, but it evidently is. Well, I drove the Rover from the time it was fixed. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I took packages for Irene's business to the post office. Everything was good. And then Tuesday, I needed to drive to Williams to pick up some automotive fluids. So I went up, no problem, got to the car parts store, no problem, bought the 1 gallon of automatic transmission fluid, because it also doubles as hydraulic fluid for some cars. And I have a couple cars that do that. So I got that and went out to get in the car, and suddenly the alarm goes crazy. I mean, it rings and buzzes and beeps and flashes the lights. Not a good thing. I'm out in the parking lot, and yeah, people did kind of look at me funny because, well, my car was saying that I was trying to break into it. Well, I was just trying to open it up and start it. It was hot. It was a long day. I planned to be back to cook some black beans that I had soaked and were sitting on the stove ready for me to come back and boil them for 1.5 or 2 hours. And that'll be a topic for another show, but it's for freeze drying and canning. I sat at that store working with all the different techniques that I knew to allow that car to start, and it just would not start. The alarm kept going off. I went inside the auto parts store and bought a couple of tools so I could disconnect the battery, because that's one of the things I needed to do to try to get rid of that alarm. The alarm wasn't the big deal. The alarm also said that my engine was disabled, and it was. I couldn't actually start the engine, because if I could have, I'd have driven the car back home with the alarm going off just because I didn't want to stay up there. I tried 4 or 5 times to clear the code so that the engine would be able to restart. Now on the Rover it's called an immobilizer. It just makes the car not want to start. It won't send the juice to the starter. It's a good security feature for the car, but it gets in the way when it goes wrong. So I finally gave up and called that 3-letter company that does roadside service for you. So they say. So they say. I was on the phone and talked to them. They were perfectly fine. I just paid the bill. Wouldn't you figure that's the way it works? I was told your case is assigned to a specific tow company. I know the tow company. They're 5 miles from where I was located. 15 minutes later, I get a call back. Not a call back, I just got a text message saying, they can't service you. Okay, who are you going to find to do it? They say 25 minutes later, they'll let me know. And they didn't let me know. So after an hour and a half, I called back and said, what's going on with my tow? It's hot out here. The sun's going down. It's not unsafe right now, but it's going to get less than ideal when the sun goes down. Because this is an industrial area. There's a lot of traffic through it, but there's a lot of attractive nuisances there. There's equipment and things that somebody who wants to steal something can come and get it. 4.5 hours of waiting. I called and said, forget it, not today. You just said it's going to be 2.5 hours at the minimum to get a tow truck to me. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow was today. Well, today was yesterday, because you're seeing this after this all occurred. I had a dentist appointment to get a couple of crowns fixed. Simple enough job. They pop off the temporary crowns, do a little prep, glue the new crowns on, and life is good. So you'd think. Not today. One crown went on just fine, but it still took them 45 minutes to get it just right. And you know, I really appreciate that about a dentist. There's nothing worse than having bad dental work. And then the joy happened with the second crown. It was the second crown, temporary crown, was glued on so tight that it had to be cut off. That meant it split it, and it couldn't be reused if it needed to go back on. And you might guess where this is going. The second crown that was made by a lab didn't fit right. So the dentist said, this isn't good enough. I have to send it back to the lab, so they're going to remake it. And the only problem is I leave for a trip to visit my mother in less than 2 weeks. So they're going to try to get the crown in the day before I need to go get on a plane. Well, it might not be the best idea, but that's what I've got. Well, what's the big deal? The big deal was it then took another 45 minutes to make a new temporary crown. In the meantime, Irene was cooling her heels at Home Depot working with Rufus to get some more socialization and more experience with new environments and new things. Worked out great for them, but we also had friends who were meeting us in Flagstaff to have lunch with us. And we're going to have an early lunch. Well, you might guess if my dentist appointment wasn't over until 12:30, more than an hour and a half after we'd planned to meet, things weren't going so well. We had a really nice lunch, we had a nice conversation, we did some grocery shopping, and we came home. Well, we're going to come home, but first I was going to stop at the auto parts store and see if we could restart the Rover. Well, Irene brought a special key. We only have one of them. It has a remote control in it to lock and unlock the car. And I said, well, maybe if that remote works, I can get the code to clear. So we stopped at a grocery store, picked up 2 new batteries for that remote. Put the batteries in, got to the auto parts store. I opened the car up, no alarm. I got in, I started the car, no alarm. Bonus! That's just what we wanted. So Irene and I went to another fuel stop to put some diesel fuel in the truck. So that means, yeah, we drove the big Isuzu box truck for this trip to Flagstaff for the dentist to go do some shopping and back to pick up the car. Now, I'm not superstitious or anything, but the car was running and I was not going to turn it off. So I told Irene, go ahead and put some fuel in the Isuzu and I'll follow you out of here. And once we're on I-40, I'll pass you and I'll go open up the gate. We did that. I opened the gate and I left the car running. I didn't want to try my luck at that point. Irene came in, I locked the gate, I drove the car up to the house, turned off the engine, turned it back on, started right up. I'm happy. The air conditioning works, all of the annunciators on the dash work like they're supposed to. They haven't for a while. I think I can make the radio work again, which would be nice. So there's a lot of things that started working. But one thing that did work, that I didn't want to have work the way it did, was that security system, that engine immobilizer. Well, I got that going. I'm hopeful the Rover is going to work just fine, but now I'm going to use, or at least I'm going to carry that second key that has the fob on it. Well, there's a lot more I'm going to talk about on the topic of what was wrong with the Rover and how it was found, but that's not today. It's, 10 o'clock at night. We just had some dinner. I had a little bit of lemonade to drink. It's time to go get this video edited and online so you can watch it in the morning. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because it does help our channel. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. And don't forget to brainstorm. Boy, I brainstormed for the past 2.5 days and my brain hurts.